So I'm sitting here out of the hole. As I look back at it, I remember the pain of being in there, the confusion, the frustration, and the difficulty of getting out. In a minute, I'm going to tell you how I got out and what it was like for me. But our end goal isn't to just get out of the hole. It's to get our lives to the top where we want them. I remember part of me being in the hole was getting addicted, creating a lot of pain for my wife, a lot of tears, a lot of heartache. I became a liar to cover for myself. I did a lot of things that I never thought I would do. So much anger, blaming other people for my problems. I didn't want to own who I'd become. And as I look back at that, I remember one of the most intense part of the pain was that I had experienced the life I wanted. I'd felt good as a man at one point. I'd felt good as a husband at one point. I'd experienced love and connection, confidence. And through my choices, I lost that. I almost lost my family. And I remember my first son, about 1 year old, and things were really bad. And I had this vivid thought: if I don't get it together, I'm gonna cause a lot of pain for him. And I remember these times just thinking, I'm gonna go pick him up after not seeing him for 2 weeks from another man's house who's now married to my wife. I'm gonna knock on the door and see her spill all that pain and regret that I didn't fight, that I didn't do whatever it would take to make this thing work, to heal her heart, to rebuild trust, to reconnect, and to become a good husband and father, and become the man I always wanted to be. And I had that vision and I held on to it. And I made a commitment. I'll do whatever it takes. And I told my wife that. So just I'm gonna work. Just give me some time. I'll do whatever it takes. Little did I know how long that journey was gonna take, what I'd have to go through. Saw 8 therapists, took almost 10 years, $30,000 spent on therapy. We drove from Las Vegas to St. George, about a 2-hour drive each way. Drove there weekly for 3.5 years for therapy. I'd seen 2 therapists before that point. Spent 1.5 years in group therapy. I spent another 1.5 years in another type of group. Saw a total of 8 therapists, became a therapist, trained in a bunch of therapies, all looking at me. Why can't I get it together? I looked at my childhood, my trauma, my brain, my ADHD, right? I learned about addiction and all this stuff, and it was all in an attempt to figure my life out. And it was worth it. I spent probably $100,000 training in different types of therapy, trying to figure out the answers. I understood why things weren't working. Nobody seemed to have the answers of how to get out of it. And I had to just keep fighting. And slowly over time, we'd figure things out. And then it would crash down. And then we'd figure things out, and then it would crash down. And then I started to look back, and I realized, had I have done these things that I'm doing now in the beginning, it would have made the journey much shorter. So I started testing some of that with people I worked with. We started going right to the core of the issue, helping people feel fully alive, helping them get in tune with their power, what their purpose for life was, training them on the things none of us are trained on: how to do life, how to do marriage, how to access your strength, how to stay connected to your purpose, how to be what your wife needs you to be so she can act how she acted when you fell in love, where she's affectionate, loving, and she likes you, and she's happy with you, and she doesn't reject you, and she's not crying because of the things you've done. When we focus on helping men step into their strength, things start to get better much more quickly. So I stepped back from my role as a director of a clinic and eventually stepped away from therapy completely, realizing this isn't the best way. We can help people get where they want to go much more quickly. Not another person needs to spend several years in therapy again. They don't need to keep banging their heads against the wall, therapist after therapist. I'm gonna build what I wish I had. 4 days with me at Rise Week save you 2 years with another therapist. You add Legion, our brotherhood of men that aren't focused on their brokenness, they're bound together by where they're going, living a life up there, having the marriage, the connection with the kids, consistently, to be bound to that brotherhood. You're not going to get that in 50 minutes a week. And then our app, The Daily Rise. Each morning you wake up and you get a message that helps you shift into your confidence, where you can feel in your body your strength, you're connected to your purpose, and guidance on what to do to repair your relationship, to come through for your wife and kids, to fulfill your purpose as a man. You see, our value isn't found in how much money we make, or the house we live in, or the cars we drive, or our job titles. That's just a filler to help us feel good. Where we feel the very best is when we see the smile on our wife's face, when our kids run up and hug us, and they tell us, "My dad's my best friend." I'd do it all again for that feeling. I'd pay another $150 grand. You don't have to. Get on the phone with me. Let's talk about where you are, and more importantly, where you want to go. I don't care what this hole is for you. I can help you get out of it, and I can help you get up there. You repair the relationship, you step into your strength, you become the man you want to be, and you don't ever have to go back to the hole. And you don't have to define yourself by what happened in there. You clean up the mess, and you move on. And you don't have to live in that shame, and that belief that you're not enough. Because you can be. The truth is you are. You just forgotten who you are, and you lost sight of where you're supposed to go. Rise Week, Legion, Daily Rise made it much simpler. All you have to do is walk the path. I hope to hear from you soon. Even if this isn't right for you, I promise you won't have another conversation like this to give you clarity of what to do, whatever the issue is in your marriage or whatever you're facing as a man. I hope to hear from you soon.